Adventurers brought together by a common goal. Freedom is what they all seek to find in the brutal hell known as the Dark Citadel.
The scene is dark and dreary, as cold as the ashes in the long-ago abandoned camp. Talon holds up the bone to the others, who gather round to examine what is left of something's meal.
I do see some footprints over here.
There are a few here as well.
They seem to have some bark or pieces of twigs in them.
Mobrick hands his torch to Onyx, who holds it as Mobrick gets a closer look. Otomex casts a magical hand, but dispels it just as quickly. After several moments of Talon and Mobrick looking at the tracks, they nod to each other.
I do believe that they are goblin tracks.
True, my friend, but the other belonged to a large rodent, likely a rat.
Seeing as we have seen some of those, I can agree with that.
Awful look around, remembering the battle, and checking for more of the large rats.
I don't think we have any option but to go down.
There is always an option.
You may not like the choice, but there's always an option. The four begin walking down the stone stairs, Mobrick leading the group and Artemex taking up the rear.
It is extremely quiet, almost too quiet.
Never say that. That is inviting trouble.
I do believe I see something in the distance.
Maybe a tower?
It could be our imagination.
Mobrick picks up a rock, tossing it at the image, but nothing happens. Talk about anticlimactic. As the group walks closer, the shape materializes into the remains of a fortress.
Do you think this is the Dark Citadel?
It could very well be.
It stands to reason that it is.
The rift, the ravine, the dark. I agree with Artemis.
There is a damp chill in the air, and with the smell of down, mold, and decay, it all fits.
Fallen rocks litter a courtyard filled with rotting leaves, broken trees, and broken ramparts crumbled into chunks of stone. Mold has begun to grow on whatever it can cling to, and scattered around are the remains of those killed in the collapse.
Not the most pleasant of welcoming places.
Whatever caused this, did it with tremendous force.
I think that may be a tower, but it is too far away for me to tell for sure.
The group continues picking their way slowly across the courtyard.
Be careful, you two. This ground doesn't seem very...
Artemex and Onyx fall into a pit.
Study.
Artemex manages to climb up out of the pit. Then Talon and Mobrick help Onyx up to the surface.
We all need to be very careful. There is no telling how far one could fall.
They continue slowly making their way across the courtyard, when Mobrick steps onto a rock, which gives way, sending him and Artemex crashing down below. A hiss comes from the darkness of the pit.
Are you okay, friend?
That wasn't me. I thought it was you.
It was not me.
So, you didn't touch my leg. Hell, something is behind me.
The Knights of the Braille are a group of blind, visually impaired, and sighted people that enjoy playing tabletop role-playing games. You can find us on the web at www.knightsofthebraille.com, on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and many different podcast platforms. Join the community today.
Onyx looks down into the hole. Then after a brief moment, both Onyx and Talon join them. The rat attacks, biting, hissing, and clawing at the abundance of fresh meat. Talon spins away from one by attack, slicing the large rat in half with his second scimitar. The group looks around, checking for more of the hungry creatures.
I do believe that is all of the rats.
I think my leg went through a trapdoor after I landed here.
Mobrook indicates the leg. The others look and agree. As they move some of the debris, a lit torch reveals the trapdoor. Artemex grabs the torch with his magic hand, lowering the torch below as they take turns climbing down into the room. A large rat springs from the shadow cast by the torch, clamping down on Talon's left leg.
That is a big one.
Mobrook swings his sword, but the weapon breaks in half on the rat's large skull. The group all look at each other as the rat launches with another attack. A purple-green light comes from Onyx's eye, sending the rat rolling into different directions. As the group walk along this corridor, shadows bounce off the cracked stone walls. Mobrook looks at the broken bit of his sword.
Here, take my sword, because I prefer scimitars anyways.
They continue walking, none of their steps making a sound. The room they enter reveals 3 small skeletons, with a 4th pinned to a wall. There's some writing behind this one. It reads Echelon. That is the name of the dragon mentioned earlier, so we are on the right track. Looking around, each of them nod at the statement by Artemex. Mobrook swings his sword, getting a feel for its weight, when he grunts in pain, shaking his hand.
There is a trap on this hidden door. I just tripped it.
As they try the other doors in the room, finding them locked, Artemex disassembles the trap, placing the mechanism in his pack. The door swings open, showing 3 skeletons slumped against the wall. Each skeleton's garments are in different stages of disintegration. As Talon walks into the room, the skeletons come to life and attack. Talon swings his scimitar, decapitating one skeleton. As the skull falls, Mobrook swings the sword, cutting another in half. As Talon kicks off the wall with a roundhouse kick, decapitating the last skeleton, Talon picks up a quiver of arrows, looking curiously at their lack of wear.
Those appear to be a magical set of arrows.
Artemex shuts the door, protecting them from anything that may come at them. Each one leans up against the wall as Onyx divides what they found amongst the 4 of them. Seeming refreshed after an hour's rest, Artemex opens the door and they leave the small room. A staircase appears, after several minutes of walking, which leads down into an even darker darkness. Mobrook takes the lead, leading them into a hallway that is blocked at the other end by fallen rocks and large chunks of stone. The floor is littered here with small animal bones, fallen paintings, and the ever-present dust and mildew. A carved dragon in relief appears on a wall as they step in front of it. Mabrook tries to open the door, only to stumble back with his hands up to his temples.
Fane!
The other three look at each other and then to Mabrook. Artemax kneels before the keyhole, looking into it and beginning to try and pick it.
A lock that you cannot pick. Continuing to do so will make you sick. A riddle I will give thee. Answer correct, and you may proceed. We come at night, without being fetched. We disappear by day, without being stolen.
Stars.
I have not yet finished the riddle. I've been down here for who knows how long, seeing no one. I finally get to ask my riddle and I get interrupted.
I am sorry. Please finish.
You don't mind?
Not at all.
M. What are we?
Stars.
Yes, I know. You already said that.
As the door opens, a room contained 4 alcoves appears. Faint light shines in this room, pulsing in time to the faint music that is now heard. The light comes from a crystal ball in the far alcove, the other crystal balls being dark and cracked. Artemax appears to be entranced by the lit crystal ball, as he stands before it and shows no other movement. Onyx tries to move the crystal ball, causing him and Artemax to struggle with each other, before Onyx joins him in staring into the ball's depth. Mabrook comes to help the two of them break this enchantment, but quickly joins the other two into staring deep into the crystal ball. The three of them begin to sway together in time to the music.
Hey guys, do you hear me? Hey guys, guys, can you hear me?
Mabrook, Onyx, and Artemax show no signs of having heard Talon. Talon pulls out his bow and lines up a shot, releasing as soon as he knocks the arrow. As the arrow shatters the ball, the others shake their heads, and the door appears behind the pedestal. Mabrook steps up onto the platform, grunting in pain as he shakes his hand.
I'm really tired of these threats.
Artemax steps up, disabling the needle trap and pushes the door open. Beyond the door is a hallway leading into darkness. And the scene fades. To be continued.
This is a recap of our weekly Dungeon and Dragons 5e campaign in audio drama format. Artemax, Richard, Mabrook, Mitch, Onyx, Stephen, Talon, Jesse. This production has been brought to you by Knights of the Braille and was made with Replica Studio. The links to the ambiences are in the show notes. Be sure to go check out the artist's fantastic work. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to get all notifications of future episodes.